So welcome back to the first module of Java. So Java is a language that is primarily used as a device language, for example, for chip programming. Later on, Java had various additions which were used for different applications such as desktop applications, web applications, mobile applications, etc. So now let's go into the depth of it. So Java is a platform independent language. What does that mean? It is a very significant feature which makes it different from other programming languages like C and C++. So anyone who has a basis understanding of C and C++, you must know that these programming languages converts the code to an executable file once compiled, that is a .exe file. Now what this .exe file contains is the machine specific code or the processor specific code. For example, when you compile on a Linux or Windows operating system, you cannot run the same program into a MacBook, for example. So, because the reason behind this is that when you're running an .exe file, there will be it is very specific to the processor. So when you are trying to run the same program in a different processor, there'll be a mismatch between the processors and hence you cannot execute it. But in case of Java, it does not matter in which processor you're running. The programs, if you're running in Windows, you can use the same program without rewriting it and execute it in a different processor, suppose a MacBook or a Mac or a Linux. So this is a very major advantage of Java over other programming languages. So next, going down to the syntax, what I can say is that if you have some idea about C and C++, Java follows a very similar syntax, which it is also a member of the C programming family, which makes it easier for you. If you have a background, you can learn it much faster. Although even if you are a complete fresher, we can still learn it. It's still a simple syntax, so you can still learn it. So that's it. So next we move to the fact that it is a it was originally designed for consumer electronics, such as fridge, TV. But later on, many different applications came up, such as its major applications were in desktop applications, such as calculators, MS Office, on those things which we are very used to operating in our desktop. And then there were web applications such as e-commerce and these several applications that we are very used to in when we are browsing through the internet. And so you can see that Java has powered over billions of devices and it is everywhere. So once you have learned Java, you will have chances of finding a better opportunity in your career. So next I will go for a brief history of Java. So Java was first developed by Sun Microsystems. So in the year 1995, and then it was acquired by Oracle. So now almost I think every one of you know about Oracle. It is a powerful database platform. So the father of Java is James Gosling. From here you can see the image of the entire team. So initially they named Java as OAK, but it was found out that it was already a registered company. So they finally changed it and gave the name Java, the Java that we know and we are so used to which we are surrounded by. So next, let me tell you some of the basic features of Java. So first and foremost is the syntax. Now Java has a very simple syntax. Their modules, their classes, their libraries are pretty simple and handy. So it is very easy for us to access Java and learn Java quite quickly. So second is the platform independent feature, which I've already mentioned. It is said that once all you have to do is write once and execute it anywhere, which is a very, very important and a very significant feature of Java. Third, it is an object-oriented language, just like C++. It means that you have a class, an object, and you these two are one of the major features of object-oriented language. We'll learn about object-oriented language in much details in the upcoming slides. Then next is it is portable. Again, it is, as I've mentioned, it is platform independent, so it does not matter in which OS you are writing the code. You can you can port the code, that is, you can copy the code and run it in a different processor. So it is that simple and that convenient. Then next is the garbage collection process. So this is a very good feature that Java has. So let me give you an example to explain what automatic garbage collection is. So let us consider a variable. Suppose I is equal to 10 maybe. Whether now when you're writing the code, it might come up that you're not using that variable at all. But that variable is taking a space in your memory, so in while you're doing a program, it might happen that several times you're using a variable, or you're using a variable which ultimately does not come in the entire program. So but it is still taking up a space in your memory. So if the memory gets loaded up with such useless codes, objects, then what happens, it becomes slow. Okay, the program will take a longer time to run. So Java has this feature of automatic garbage collection, in which it removes the unused objects from the memory, making the whole process run faster. So this is a very helpful feature that Java has. Then the next is multi-threaded. So what multi-threaded means is that you can run parallel instructions in the CPU. So I can, for example, when you're using your computer, sometimes you're opening your PowerPoint, you're also opening your Excel sheet. At the same time, you're also listening to music from your laptop itself. So all these functions are run simultaneously. So that is the thing which I'm saying, that it is multi-threaded. So similarly, if when you're trying to execute a program, it might happen that you're running three instructions, 3, 4 or multiple instructions simultaneously, and the Java will allow you to do that, which was obviously a very convenient process. So next is automatic type checking. So to understand this, again, let me give you an example. So suppose you're taking a variable and you're declaring it in a particular type. Suppose an int type, that is an integer type. You learn about it in the next module, what are the different types of variables that are used. So suppose we're considering an integer type, so once you're assigning it, we have to make sure that we don't use a real or a decimal value for the values that we are putting into it. Should not be decimal values. It should, since it's an integer, it should not be in decimal points or a real value. So what Java does is, once you declare a variable of a certain type, the compiler will ensure that it is only one type of value that is assigned. The one that you have assigned, only that value is shown, is included, and other type of values are not given. So that makes it a very useful feature. So in case you're making a mistake, that mistake is automatically rectified. And finally, Java has a very high speed since it runs in its own environment, that is the JVM, Java Virtual Machine. We'll talk about Java Virtual Machine in details in the upcoming slides. So this makes it a very high performing programming language, which overall makes Java a very which overall makes Java into a very useful platform for programming languages. So these are some of the basic features, but this is not where all the features of Java ends. There are many more features, but these are the main features, so I'm going into the details of it. So next is the ecosystem. So what do you mean by this? That Java has several additions, as it went on progressing. Several additions came up for its specific purposes. For example, if I have a company which creates only chips for electronic devices like microwave or say the television or something like that, then I'll be using the Java card because I don't have the use for the other editions. So it is specifically the Java card. Then if I'm working in microservices and working, then I'll be using the micro edition or the micro profile based on my requirements. Then, for example, I need some desktop application. Suppose I want to design a calculator of my choice. Then which application will I go? I'll go for the standard edition. I'll go for the Java SE. Now, if you want to build, now suppose if you want to build a website of your own, you want to create an e-commerce website of your own, then in that case, we'll be using the enterprise edition. So enterprise edition has these facilities in which multiple modules can be run simultaneously. Suppose in case of an e-commerce edition, you have like a payment module, you have a customer module, you have an order module. So all that comes together and it is run smoothly under one in one web browser. So that obviously, so the enterprise edition helps you in creating that in a standard form. So this is the entire process. So this is these are the 5 different kind of systems that Java has. So now just give you a brief example of each. So in this one, this is the Java SC edition, that is a standard edition. So in standard edition, this what you are seeing is a cab invoice generator. So it does not require any internet, it does not require a web browser. So it is just a desktop application where you are just selecting the requirements that you want. That is maybe which place it wants to go, what kind of car model you want. So all that can be manually done. You don't need the internet. So for that, for some such simple applications, you can use the standard edition. Then next is the enterprise edition. This is an example. So here it is the human resource portal. So you can see here it is in the web browser. So here they are asking for the human resource portal or the employee search. So you have to give the name or you can give the social security number and you'll get all the information that is required. So similarly for an e-commerce, same way, if you are giving you're displaying a product which a person wants to buy, they can simply go click on it and then they can go to the payment module and all that things. So all of that falls under the enterprise edition. So and finally the ME, the micro edition. So here all the apps that we're using, those apps usually use the Java micro edition. So the various apps that we are very used to now, everybody has a cell phone. So obviously, the features, all the apps that are included in it. So most of them use Java platform. So, okay. Now the different type of applications. Now Java has in briefly, I can say that it can be divided into 4 kinds of applications. There are many more, but these are like broadly classified. Standalone applications. For example, you want to you want to create your own calculator or own something like that. So similar for that, a simple standalone edition is enough. You can do it by your standalone, that is the standard edition is enough for you. And you can use the standard edition of Java and you can create your own application. You can have a web application in which we use the enterprise edition and find different features in the web browser. Then there is an enterprise application, which has, for example, the ERP system is one of them. And finally, in mobile edition, that's something which we are very used to, that is through apps. All these applications these are the main 4 applications that Java is commonly seen in. Then let's take a brief break here and we'll come back and we'll go to the next module.